Good Friday afternoon to you, everybody. Welcome to an AnglersChannel.com video exclusive. We got 2014 FLW champion Anthony Gagliardi with us here in Sportsman's Warehouse and in Columbia, South Carolina, your home town and home lake, Lake Murray. But obviously, Anthony, gigantic win, not just from a monetary standpoint, but a perception standpoint, a sponsorship standpoint. You've been at this game a while. The gratification that you must have felt up on stage is really something you can't anticipate.
For sure. This is my 15th year, I think, on tour, and there's never been a moment like that moment that I had on stage at the conclusion of this tournament. Just the way the year played out for me. First of all, coming from the depths of where I was at after I got DQ'd from Okeechobee.
That's so ironic. Everybody talks about that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for a good story. I mean, it's good to talk. I didn't like it at the time. I didn't like the story as it was being written, but now that I look back on it, it's pretty cool. But just coming from so low, fighting back all season, just to make the cup. That was my goal all season long, was just to get here, just to be able to say that I was here, and not to ever have to worry about what would have been had I made it. And so, once I got here, all that focus and all that energy, that I'd put into the season, all immediately, that minute, that second after a qualification for the Cup. So I never got to really kind of reflect back on the year that I had, and obviously after I won this thing, and just all those emotions, from throughout the year, just all kind of culminated right there at the end. And then with the crowd, I mean, it's such a huge crowd over there at the convention center or at the Coliseum.
Biggest crowd either of us have ever seen at a fishing event in Columbia.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, best crowd I've ever seen in a weigh-in, and to have that support, the community support, it just made it. I mean, it made it all that much more special, than it already was to me, and it was already super special, but that just made it even better.
Absolutely. Well, hey, don't forget, folks, that Anthony won an event where 11 ounces separated the top 5 finishers. I don't know that there's ever been a tighter, closer finish in a championship event. Yeah, I don't think any. He won by 1 ounce over Scott Canterbury. So just an amazing final day. But let me tell you, and one of the reasons we're here today is one of your sponsors and longtime sponsors is Buckeye Lures, who we do a lot of work with, and Buckeye Lures and their components had a big impact on your ability to win the championship, and we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, Buckeye's been with me longer than just about anybody that I've had, and they've just been so important, to me in my career. I mean, just the fish that I've caught on their baits throughout my career and all the tournaments that I've done well with their stuff, but just the people there. I mean, Jeremy and all the guys and Roy. I mean, I'm really good friends with them, and I'm honestly happy when I'm able to catch something on their baits and do well in the tournament. It just makes me feel good to be able to give back a little bit, for everything that they've done to me over the years. But yeah, I mean, it was super important. I mean, the first 5 fish that I caught in the tournament, I caught on a J-Will swimbait head. I actually had my limit by 8:15 on the first morning. I was throwing a 5-inch Bass Tricks swimbait, and I'm not sure what color it is, scaled sardine maybe. Right. The color was probably irrelevant. I had it on a 3/8 ounce Buckeye J-Will head, and they were chewing it. I mean, they were biting a little bit better than I even anticipated. And so I think I weighed in 13 pounds, 2 ounces that day, and every single one of those came on this swimbait head. So it was huge for me, as far as that first day went. I caught 3 off of it the second day. The next morning on the same place, and that pattern kind of started dwindling from that point forward, and had to move on, and fish some different baits. But it was super huge for me that first day.
Well, I tell you what, they have been around a long time, and I know you've been with them a long time. And don't forget, you can get all their products right here at Sportsman's Warehouse, online at sportsmanswarehouse.com, or you can go to buckeyelures.com and find out where a retailer is near you. All right, back to the tournament, back to the final day. You were, I want to say, in 7th place on Saturday after the weigh-in. Is that right?
3rd, maybe.
Were you 3rd? Were you that? Okay.
7th coming into Saturday.
That's what it was. My bad. 7th coming in Saturday, and then Sunday and 3rd. But you had a great final day. Yeah. Let's talk about that last day, and because it was hot. Yeah. Not bluebird skies. Not an easy day to fish.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, not really what you would consider easy, but it was that's kind of the weather I had been hoping for and expecting. all those weeks leading up to this tournament, because it just gets those fish, those suspended fish out there, and they start schooling a little bit when it gets hot. And I got a little bit nervous when we had all that rain come through. We had a lot of cloudy weather, had a lot of windy weather that we don't normally get, and I just wasn't seeing a lot of that sun. And I think that we had enough of it during the course of the tournament that by that last day it started to get pretty good out there with what I was trying to do. And I ended up catching all my fish that day on a Yamamoto D-shad. Basically, that's what everybody does here. A lot of people throw a fluke out there, weighted fluke. I was putting on a weighted EWG hook, and fish were coming up breaking. There were some schooling fish in the area that I was fishing. I had a hard time catching the schooling fish, which is not really normal for me out there, at least that time of year. But it was hard for me to get the ones coming up to commit to a bait, and I actually, especially the better fish that I caught there, they were all when the fish were down. Once those fish went down, I was able to keep casting and get one or two to bite, and those seemed to be my better fish.
What was your big fish on Sunday?
I think I probably had two in the 3.5 pound to 3 3/4 pound range, maybe. Yeah.
Well, it's simply incredible that you won a championship by 1 ounce. And 11 ounces, again, separated the top 5.
Made it in by 1 ounce.
Made it in by 1 ounce.
Yeah, made it in by 1 ounce, too.
Well, the whole storyline is you can't write the book.
Right.
That's why you play the game.
Right.
So the script is always different for all these tournaments. But, hey, congratulations, not just on winning the championship, but coming back from a rough start earlier in the year on Okeechobee. And here we are sitting today, and
Exactly.
You're in your hometown, and you got a little breather now to enjoy this and get ready for 2015. But, folks, there's nobody better than this guy. First class all the way. Great champion.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully keep up with you going into 15. And we want to thank Sportsman's Warehouse for letting us come in and talk to Anthony. We'll see you next week.